The 6 Saibamen hit the battlefield like a plague. At first, the Shinobi Alliance thought they were dealing with some new kind of summon, a small and vicious kind. Ugly little creatures with clawed hands and terrifying grins. But that assumption died almost instantly. Entire squads of Shunin rushed in to intercept a single one of them. They released fire, water and earth jutsus, hoping to at least slow it down. But the green alien just launched. Its claws ripped straight through the first shinobi's chest. Then it latched onto a second soldier and spat a stream of acid into his face, melting through his mask, skin and half the armor beneath it in seconds. The man screamed barely lasted long enough to register before he collapsed. In the next 10 seconds, the same situation would repeat around the battlefield dozens of times. Hundreds more were dying before even understanding what had hit them. The alliance line broke once again. "Retreat," one of the commanders shouted, but there was nowhere to retreat to. This shinobi had been terrifyingly outmatched ever since the Saiyans arrived, and now their hopes were running low. The Saibamen moved too fast. They tired us through the ranks with terrifying speed, tearing apart low and mid-tier shinobi before they even could form hand signs. Needles of acid, claws, and simply ramming through formations made them formidable opponents. Entire squads were wiped out in moments. Blood sprayed across broken earth, smoke rose everywhere, thousands died in minutes, and the worst part was that the creatures kept coming. They were worse than beasts, worse than summons, and perhaps even worse than the Bijou. Naruto clenched his teeth as he watched the slaughter unfold. Kuroma's chakra flared around him in a blazing golden glow. "Let's go all in," he muttered, eyes narrowing. Beside him, Sasuke's Sharingan dragged one of the Saibamen darting across the battlefield. "This is getting ugly," Naruto said, to which Sasuke only replied, "That's putting it lightly." Suddenly, a Saibaman lunged at them. Naruto was the first to move. A rising shuriken formed in his hand and blasted forward with a roar of wind and chakra. The Saibaman crossed its arms and blocked it. The impact sent it skidding backwards, its body shredded and smoking from the force of the attack. But he did not fall. Naruto's eyes widened. It blocked that? That same attack would be able to give even Madara Uchiha severe damage, so the fact it did little more than some skin trauma to the monster was enough to tell just how strong it was. The Saibaman hissed, grinning through the damage. Then it opened its mouth and spat acid. Naruto twisted away just in time as the corrosive fluid burned the ground where he had been standing. Sasuke appeared beside it in a flash. Black flames ignited through the air. Amaterasu. And, at the same time, lightning crackled around his hand, the Chidori. The two attacks fused together, striking, piercing straight to the Saibaman's head. For a split second, the creature froze. Then its body began to bulge, and Sasuke's eyes widened instantly, understanding what this meant. "Move!" he shouted to everyone around him. He vanished in a heartbeat before the Saibaman detonated. The explosion tore across the ground and sent fire and debris flying into every direction. Sasuke skidded back, smoke rising from the edge of his skull where the blast had singed him. Naruto went beside him. "Are you okay?" Sasuke glanced at the burns along his shoulder and arm. "I'm fine," he said. Neither of them looked relaxed, because the battlefield was only getting worse. Near the center of the chaos, Kakashi and Obito were forced into motion. One of the Saibamen had broken through the line and was heading straight for a group of wounded shinobi. Kakashi's eye swirled. "Obito, I know," he replied. The two of them moved at the same time. Kamui warped open in front of the creature, trying to drag it into the pocket dimension, while Obito rushed in to ensure it could not escape. For a brief moment, the Saibaman struggled against a pull, claws digging into the earth. Then it turned and slammed a fist into the ground. The entire area exploded outwards. Kakashi was forced back, and the Saibaman twisted free just enough to launch himself at him. Obito saw it instantly, then, without hesitation, he moved in front of the attack. The Saibamen struck him with enough force to rupture the ground beneath his feet. Obito gritted his teeth as the creature watched on, trying to spit acid at the people behind him. Kakashi's voice snapped through the smoke. Obito looked over his shoulder. He smiled, having made his choice long ago. He put the Saibaman closer, using Kamui to bring him out of this dimension. In a split second, the creature's body warped violently as the space around it folded. The blast erupting half inside Kamui dimension, half outside. Obito was engulfed in the explosion, taking the brunt of the detonation. A shockwave ripped across the battlefield, and when the smoke cleared, Obito was gone. Kakashi just stood there, frozen for a second. Then, he lowers his head, nods. There was no time to mourn, not here and not now. There were still several of these things on the battlefield, and he needed to act. When he lifted his head, he was ready. Fine. Elsewhere on the battlefield, the remaining Saibamen had become bolder. After understanding the gap between them and the average shinobi, they did not care, they displayed. They skipped through broken corpses and shattered armor like they were playing a game, clawing everything and anything in their path. Nappa watched them from a distance and burst into laughter himself. "Look at them go," he said, wiping one eye. "Those little bugs are actually fighting back." He stepped forward casually and stomped one of the Alliance's frontline defenders into the dirt without even looking down. Another shinobi lunged at him with the blades, but Nappa simply caught it with one hand and snapped it in half. Pathetic, he shoved the man aside and kept walking. Each step cracked the earth, each swing of his arms sent soldiers flying. He wasn't even trying anymore. After Naruto and Vegeta, any of these little creatures weren't even a warm-up to him. He needed more. Then Naruto and Sasuke stopped. Both of them felt it at the same time. A pressure, a monstrous spike of chakra rising from the center of the battlefield. It was the same as before, the one who had blasted Madara away. Naruto's face hardened. That's him, the freak who blew everything. Sasuke trembled slightly, sharpening his gaze, trying to keep contact with the monster. Just, who the hell are you? The air around them seemed to tremble as the bald Saiyan slowly turned his head in their direction. His grin widened. At that moment, Naruto and Sasuke both understood something with absolute clarity. If the shinobi world wanted to survive, then they needed to defeat these beasts. It was the only way. The Saiyans were clearly stronger than Madara, much so. However, the legendary shinobi had managed to cut one of their arms off already. That should give them the edge, or so they thought. The battle went silent for one brief moment. Then Nappa laughed. Finally, some actual entertainment as Naruto and Sasuke walked towards him. Vegeta scoffed from behind. "Try not to dirty my armor, Nappa. I don't want to have to punish you again." And just like that, the last hope of the Shinobi Alliance prepared to face the Saiyans. If you like this episode, please leave a like and subscribe, as part 3 will come soon. Until then, consider watching any of the cool videos I got on the channel. There should be 2 appearing on the screen right now.